Most people are told the same thing as they get older. Eat more fish. It's supposed to protect your heart, your brain, and your memory. For years, that advice sounded simple and safe. But a major study published in JAMA Neurology raised an uncomfortable concern. In adults over 60, higher mercury exposure from certain commonly eaten fish was linked to faster cognitive decline, even in people who otherwise ate healthy diets. The issue wasn't fish itself, it was which fish and how often. Here's why that matters. After 60, the body clears heavy metals much more slowly. Mercury lingers longer in brain tissue. Nerve cells become more vulnerable. What once passed through quietly can begin to build up without warning. The damage doesn't appear all at once. It shows up as brain fog, slower recall, subtle balance issues, poor sleep, or numb hands. Most people assume that's just aging. In many cases, it isn't. What makes this more concerning is that some of the most popular fish eaten every week contribute the most to mercury exposure in older adults, while other fish do the opposite and actively support brain and circulatory health. In this video, I'll show you 4 fish doctors advise older adults to avoid and 4 they consistently recommend eating weekly. Stay with me, because the fish most people trust the most is also the one that causes the most damage. Part 1. The 4 fish you should avoid after 60. Number 4. Farmed tilapia. Tilapia is often sold as the safe fish. It's cheap, mild, easy to cook, and widely marketed as a clean source of lean protein. Many older adults choose tilapia because it feels lighter than beef and less risky than fattier fish. The problem isn't fish itself. The problem is how most tilapia is raised today. Farmed tilapia is produced in crowded ponds, fed unnatural diets heavy in corn and soy, and routinely exposed to antibiotics just to keep the fish alive. That completely changes what ends up on your plate. Farmed tilapia has one of the worst fat profiles of any commonly eaten fish. Instead of calming inflammation, it floods the body with omega-6 fats. After 60, when inflammation already rises naturally, this imbalance quietly adds fuel to the fire. Joints stiffen more easily. Blood sugar control becomes harder. Blood vessels stay irritated longer than they should. This is why many people notice symptoms that seem unrelated to food. Achy knees that don't improve. Swollen fingers in the morning. Digestive discomfort after meals. Even poorer sleep. These don't feel like food reactions, so they're usually blamed on aging or arthritis. The larger issue is what happens over time. Chronic inflammation isn't just about pain. It accelerates insulin resistance, strains the heart, and makes the brain more vulnerable to cognitive decline. A fish chosen for heart health can quietly work in the opposite direction over time. Tilapia may not feel dangerous, but it slowly pushes the body the wrong way after 60. And as concerning as that is, the next fish on this list introduces a different problem entirely. Not inflammation, but toxins the aging body struggles to clear once they begin to build up. Number 3. Imported catfish. Unregulated sources. On the surface, this option feels practical. It's soft, affordable, easy to chew, and rarely upsets the stomach. That's why many older adults gravitate toward it when digestion isn't as strong as it used to be. The real issue isn't taste or texture. It's where and how this fish is raised. Much of what's sold in the U.S. comes from overseas farms with minimal oversight, where fish are grown in crowded water and chemicals are used simply to keep production moving. Antibiotic residues and environmental contaminants don't disappear when the fish is cooked. They accumulate. After 60, the liver and kidneys already clear toxins more slowly. Repeated exposure quietly overloads those systems. That's why the symptoms feel unclear. People don't feel sick. They feel drained. Sleep becomes lighter. Swelling lingers. Minor infections take longer to resolve. Many seniors describe a constant low-level fatigue they can't explain. Over time, this burden matters. Chemical stress leaves less capacity to regulate blood sugar, protect blood vessels, and support brain health. Inflammation stays switched on. Circulation suffers. Neurological and cardiovascular risk rises quietly. This type of fish rarely causes immediate reactions. It causes gradual overload. And once that buildup begins, it's difficult to reverse. As concerning as this is, the next fish goes a step further. Introducing heavy metals the aging brain struggles to clear once they start to build up. Number 2. Large tuna. For many people, this feels like the gold standard. It's high in protein, low in fat, and often recommended for heart health. Tuna sandwiches, tuna steaks, even canned tuna become weekly habits because they feel disciplined and safe. What's rarely mentioned is that size matters in the ocean. The larger and longer a fish lives, the more it accumulates. Large tuna sit high on the food chain, which means mercury builds up in their flesh over time. When you eat it, that mercury doesn't pass through. It stays. After 60, this matters. The aging brain and nervous system are far more sensitive to heavy metals. Mercury interferes with nerve signaling and blood flow. Over time, it quietly disrupts memory, focus, and emotional balance. That's why the symptoms are easy to misread. More forgetfulness, words coming slower, slight numbness in the hands, a flatter or more irritable mood. These changes are blamed on age or stress, when the trigger may be sitting in the fridge. The heart is affected too. Mercury strains blood vessels and disrupts heart rhythm. In older adults, this raises the risk of circulation problems and stroke. The danger isn't one meal, it's repetition. Even canned tuna isn't harmless when it becomes routine. Lower levels don't mean no buildup. Tuna feels clean. It feels safe. But in larger forms, it quietly targets the brain and heart together. And as serious as that is, the next fish is more concerning still, because health authorities don't advise moderation. They advise avoiding it altogether. Number 1. King mackerel. This one catches almost everyone off guard. Many people hear the word mackerel and assume it's a healthy, oily fish similar to salmon. It's often served grilled or pan-seared and labeled simply as mackerel, which makes it feel familiar and safe. The danger is the specific type. King mackerel is not the same as smaller mackerel species. It's a large, long-living predator, which puts it at the top when it comes to mercury accumulation. Heavy metals build up in its flesh over many years. After 60, there is very little margin for error with mercury. Detox systems slow. Nerve cells become more vulnerable. Mercury interferes directly with brain signaling, coordination, and blood flow. Even occasional servings can push exposure beyond what an aging nervous system can handle. The symptoms don't arrive dramatically. Balance feels slightly off. Hands may tremble or feel weak. Thinking slows. Heart rhythm feels irregular. These changes develop gradually and are almost always blamed on age, not diet. Unlike the other fish on this list, this one is not about moderation. Health authorities consistently warn older adults to avoid king mackerel entirely. The mercury levels are simply too high, and once they accumulate in the brain and nervous system, they are extremely difficult to remove. That's why king mackerel sits at the top of the list. Not because it causes sudden illness, but because it quietly accelerates neurological and cardiovascular decline in a body least equipped to defend itself. So now you know what to avoid. And that matters. But this isn't about cutting fish out of your diet. It's about understanding which choices quietly drain the body, and which ones actually help it recover with age. Because there are fish that do the opposite of everything we just talked about. They're lower in toxins, easier for the aging body to handle, and rich in the nutrients that support circulation, brain function, and long-term independence. That's the part most people never hear. So let's shift to the other side of the list. Part 2, the 4 fish doctors recommend weekly. Number 4, wild-caught cod. This one often gets overlooked because it doesn't sound exciting. It's a mild white fish. No hype, no bold flavor. Many people assume it's nutritionally weak or just a filler. That assumption is exactly why it works so well for older adults. Wild-caught cod delivers clean, efficient protein without adding extra strain to the body. It gives you what you need without what you don't. Cod stands out for its balance. It provides high-quality protein that supports muscle maintenance at a time when muscle loss accelerates. It's also a reliable source of selenium and vitamin B12, nutrients that help protect nerve cells, support metabolism, and maintain steady energy as absorption declines with age. Just as important is what cod doesn't bring along. As a smaller, shorter-lived fish, it accumulates far fewer toxins than large predatory species. That means less work for the liver and kidneys, and less stress on the nervous system. The benefits show up in everyday ways. Better strength, more stable energy, clearer thinking, fewer digestive issues compared to heavier, fattier fish. Cod tends to feel light, while still doing important work behind the scenes. Wild-caught cod may not feel powerful, but it quietly supports the foundation of healthy aging. And while it's a great place to start, the next fish on this list goes a step further by directly calming inflammation and supporting joint health. Number 3, sardines. These rarely get much respect. They're small, often canned, and easy to dismiss as outdated or unappealing. Many people assume that if a fish comes in a tin, it can't be doing much for their health. That assumption is wrong. Sardines are one of the most effective fish an older adult can eat. Because they sit low on the food chain and feed on plankton, they accumulate almost no mercury or heavy metals. That makes them one of the cleanest seafood options available. Sardines are especially valuable for their omega-3 content. After 60, chronic inflammation quietly drives joint stiffness, artery changes, and cognitive decline. Omega-3s help calm that process, supporting circulation and protecting brain cells over time. They also provide nutrients many older adults lack without realizing it: vitamin D, calcium, vitamin B12. Together, these support bone strength, nerve function, and steady energy. The soft, edible bones deliver calcium in a form the body absorbs easily, which is critical for reducing fracture risk. When sardines become a regular part of the diet, the benefits feel practical. Joints move more freely. Balance feels steadier. Energy stays more consistent through the day. And because they're affordable and shelf-stable, they're easy to include weekly. Sardines may look modest, but they deliver protection where it matters most. And the next fish on this list builds on those benefits, offering even stronger support for the brain and cardiovascular system. Number 2, wild-caught Alaskan salmon. Salmon is familiar, but it's also widely misunderstood. Many people assume all salmon is the same, so they choose whatever is cheapest without realizing how much the source matters for the aging body. Wild-caught Alaskan salmon stands apart because of both what it delivers and what it avoids. It's one of the richest natural sources of omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA. These fats help protect brain cells, improve blood flow, and calm the chronic inflammation that quietly damages joints and arteries after 60. It also provides high-quality protein the body can actually use. As we age, muscle tissue becomes less responsive to protein intake. Wild salmon helps counter that decline, supporting strength, balance, and mobility, key factors for maintaining independence. Another advantage is its natural antioxidant content. The deep color of wild salmon comes from compounds that help protect cells from oxidative stress, the internal wear and tear that accelerates aging. This protection supports the brain, the eyes, and the cardiovascular system as vulnerability increases with age. When eaten regularly, the benefits tend to show up gradually. Clearer thinking, less joint stiffness, more stable energy, better recovery after physical activity. These aren't dramatic overnight changes, but steady improvements that compound over time. And as powerful as wild salmon is, the final fish on this list is even easier for the aging body to handle, while offering the highest level of protection overall. Number 1. Rainbow trout. It doesn't get the attention salmon does, and that's exactly why it works so well. Rainbow trout flies under the radar, yet offers one of the cleanest and most balanced nutrient profiles for older adults. What sets trout apart is how gently it supports the body. It provides omega-3 fats in amounts that calm inflammation without overwhelming digestion. Circulation improves. Blood vessels stay more flexible. The brain gets steady protection without the heaviness some people feel after richer fish. Trout is especially supportive of the nervous and cardiovascular systems. It delivers B vitamins that help nerves function properly, along with minerals that ease blood pressure and reduce strain on the heart. For many adults after 60, this balance is exactly what the body responds to best. It's also easier to tolerate than stronger-tasting fish. The mild flavor and soft texture make digestion easier, which helps nutrients absorb efficiently instead of sitting heavy in the stomach. When eaten regularly, the benefits feel practical. More stable energy, steadier balance, clearer thinking, fewer inflammatory flare-ups. Not because trout is extreme, but because it works with the aging body instead of pushing against it. Among all the fish on this list, rainbow trout offers the most sustainable weekly choice. Clean, gentle, effective. A simple way to support strength and independence without creating new problems. When you step back and look at the full picture, the pattern becomes clear. Some fish quietly add stress to the aging body, while others actively support it. The difference isn't about eating more or less. It's about choosing what works with your body instead of against it. Avoiding the wrong fish reduces hidden strain. Choosing the right ones helps protect your brain, your heart, and your ability to stay independent longer. These aren't dramatic changes. They're small weekly decisions that compound over time. You don't need to overhaul your diet. You don't need perfection, just awareness and consistency. If this breakdown helped you see fish differently, let me know in the comments. Which fish surprised you the most, or which one are you planning to add this week? I read every comment, and if you want more clear, practical guidance like this for staying strong and independent as you age, make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you in the next video.